Here we go. Okay, so wireframing. I'm sure everyone's kind of heard that term wireframing. I think for the most part, we all know what the heck that is. So this is essentially, this is our sketches. We take it to step 2. Now that we've gone through the process of creating sketches for our site, we could begin the next step in the web design process. We now create wireframes of the site to better define the website hierarchy page, organization, interactive elements, structure elements. So that might have been something you guys were, or hopefully already thinking about when it came down to your sketches. How are things going to flow through? How's our viewer going to interact with them, etc. And now it's just a chance to make them look a little bit nicer and to really almost give that skeleton a little more look and feel to it. So what's a wireframe? Wireframing is a way to design a website at the structural level. So a wireframe is commonly used to lay out content and functionality on a page, which takes into account users' needs, goodness. During the wireframing stage, you flesh out the interactive elements and how they behave. So wireframes are simple grayscale, black and white. Lots of times you'll see all shades of blue. Black and white monochromatic layouts that display the specific size and placement of page elements, site features, etc. So this is where you get a little more refined. So your sketches are really kind of open-ended, lots of big ideas. But now you're like, okay, once I actually get down into designing, it's probably going to be a bit too tight in this area. I have a little more space here. I can add a little bit more, etc. So this is basically a wireframe, or this is a wireframe. These are obviously very detailed. So yours probably won't look this way, especially if you're doing your own personal site. There probably won't be this many details in it, but just to get an idea, grayscale format. So as a designer, hash out the details of a site's architecture, functionality, and content prior to actually starting a high fidelity mockup, so your comp. So that's where you start looking at your actual colors and your actual imagery, etc. A wireframe lets people focus on what's important at this step. So what goes on each page, where does it go, why does it go there, how is it going to function, etc. Benefits of wireframing. So it's excellent for creating layouts, planning functionality, and organizing the information of your website. Allows you to explore numerous positioning, functional options, and how elements will work together on the page or say between pages. So thinking, for instance, in mobile. So when you click your little hamburger menu, when you're on your cell phone, how does your menus come in? Do they slide down from the top? Do they fade in? Do they slide in from the side, etc.? Helps ensure the functionality is explored prior to time-consuming pixel perfection work is done. So if you kind of start getting hung up on those details when you're in a development stage with your developer, you waste a lot of time. Maybe your client doesn't like it versus this is real, just kind of like skin and bones, essentially. We don't have all the fancy makeup on quite yet. Helps to ensure that layouts, functionality, and other elements are signed off on before moving on to time-consuming pixel-perfect design. Wireframing solves the structural details before the comping process begins. So again, colors and fonts, stylistic treatments of logos, other graphical elements can evoke emotional response. So I really hate that pink. I've used that description before, going and buying a house, looking at an apartment, a piece of furniture. If you can't stand the color of it, you're completely turned off by it versus seeing like, okay, this is the size I really need it to be, this couch, or this is, like the actual structure of it. I like that style versus, maybe this bigger style. So it can distract from the task of determining the best information for design. So where's the best spot to have this headline? Where is the best spot to place my logo? Where is the best spot to have this element animate through? Pardon me. Common responsive website sizes. So responsive websites is exactly where the world is going. It has to go this way. Depending on new and popular devices, below are a few popular website widths based on Bootstrap framework. So your desktop, 1200 pixels, your tablet, 970, and your mobile, 360. So choosing a wireframe tool. So this is where it gets into a lot of preference for you. So if you guys perhaps have already been navigating these programs, this is where you can now choose where you want to keep going in. But they all, essentially they all generally do, oh my goodness, generally do the same thing. I shouldn't touch my mouse. So there are many apps available for designers to use for wireframing. So we've got Sketch, we've got Figma, and we've got XD. Um, XD comes with your suite, so we're going to be working with XD. That's what I know more. So, but generally, if you guys are like, oh, I actually have used Sketch already, can I use that? Absolutely, 100%. We always encourage you guys, especially in these apps and these programs. Sketch is very popular right now, so it might be something that you might want to start trying. But if you're like, I don't really want to go into something like that quite yet, 100%. Any one of these work. Adobe's already on your system, might as well go for it. So just a little bit about the three of those. So Sketch is the current industry standard because it's been around. XD is newer. Just took Adobe, I guess, a little while to catch up to that. So it does cost around $100 and it's a one-time fee. So it's not like Adobe where you have to subscribe and you're constantly paying a monthly fee. So the value is flexible, and Sketch offers is unparalleled. So Sketch allows for easy integration with InVision, which XD does now as well. But anyway, the interface does take a bit of time to get used to, but the advantages over Photoshop and Illustrator become apparent very quickly. When you open Sketch, you get a starting screen to help you choose what type of object you'd like to create or like to work on. And then this is essentially what it looks like. So you've got all your layers here. You've got your style elements over here. They all generally kind of work the same. I think if we're all able to navigate our Adobe programs, we probably have the ability to navigate through any of these. Adobe XD, things like different hotkeys or maybe the navigation through are probably a little more recognizable to our Adobe program. So again, this might be something that you might feel a little more comfortable with at a start point. So it's kind of does an all-in-one. So for designing websites and mobile. So its integration with the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite is handy again because you don't have to pay for the darn thing. It's already there. It has some features Sketch and other online-based tools don't have, such as in-app prototyping. So you've probably heard me say a few times the word InVision, which is that program we use online where we did our toast. So we can actually bring our anything we could bring. We can bring our sketches, we can bring our JPEGs into InVision, and we can make everything almost literally animate and navigate and work. But you can actually do so in Adobe XD as is without going from Adobe XD into InVision and then off to your client. So a little more all-in-one. This is your start screen when we open up XD. So this is where we can choose the projects we want to work with. And this is essentially what it looks like. So this is in the prototype section. So these little arms are how we get things to work. So essentially what this little arm is, so when you click this, it'll take you to this page. That's how that works. We won't be doing this quite yet. We'll be doing the design process right now. Adobe XD resources right there. Figma is an up-and-coming UI tool. It offers strong collaboration features. It uses Slack for team communication, which is great. I don't know if you guys know of Slack. It's just like Discord, a little more business related. You can design a prototype, again, all through there. A huge benefit is that there's a desktop app and there's also a web-based version. And that's what it looks like. So they're all kind of the same with the navigation or the, your layers and stuff over here on the sign. So they all kind of essentially work the same-ish. So with many, many, many tools out there, there's a whole laundry list of them. I think your top are here. Again, you're more than welcome to do it in any program you want, but I'm just assuming everyone's going to use XD because it's there, unless you already know, it. So lots of great resources out there. Obviously, you guys know how to, Google little tips and stuff like that. I'm going to show you some basic ones today to get the ball rolling, though. So I'm just going to, whoops, stop the share. And